Okay, so welcome back to the channel everyone. I hope everyone's okay. Autumn's just around the corner, so I thought I'd come out to the forest. This is the Forest of Dean, and I thought I'd just come out to scout and recce some locations for a good autumn shoot. So when these colours start to turn, I'm prepared and I kind of know where I'm going. The problem is I find woodland photography very difficult, and I think you can end up looking too hard for those compositions, and yeah, you know, excuse the pun, but you can't see the wood for the trees. But you know, I'll have a look around, we'll see what's here, and yeah, hopefully I'll find some decent shots that I can then come back to in a few weeks when all of this is a glorious orange colour. Let's see. So I just found these two trees here, and what I'm drawn to is the base of the trees. I really like the way the roots split off at the bottom and that lovely green moss around the bottom. It kind of makes you feel like they're really planted into the ground and really holding on tight. I just like that feel. I love the way the trees, both of them are very similar, and they kind of move together the further up you go. But I'm really concentrating on the bottom, and I think with a bit of mist or some nice light, that will really change this composition and it will really enhance it. So really pleased I'm coming out on this recce to get to, you know, to look at these things and try and imagine what they're like in the autumn. A bit of that fog or mist and those lovely lights coming in maybe from one side. Yeah, I think this could be a really nice composition.
I made different images of this composition, exploring the different aspects, and I think this is the one I felt worked the best. It's not an epic image, but when autumn really sets in, then that will change this image significantly, particularly with some light breaking through the canopy. So yeah, I think this image will work relatively well once autumn has finally set in.
Pretty cool. This woods is full of these old stones with moss and rocks everywhere, and yeah, I want to find a composition where I can use some of these in the foreground perhaps. I'm not sure this is the right place though, it just looks a little bit too busy, but yeah, onwards, let's keep on looking. Just found this beautiful spot in the forest here. It's absolutely lovely, even with everything being so green. It's beautiful. Yes, there's no light today. It'd be really nice to have a bit of light coming through, a few light rays, but I've had a look around this place. I've spent a bit of time here and I can't find a composition. I think it's a classic case of I'm looking too hard for a composition and I just haven't found one yet. Also, I think in my head, I'm visualising autumn, and I'm visualising everything being rusty coloured, orange coloured and mist, and I think that's maybe inhibiting me a little bit in finding a composition. So This is definitely a spot that I'll come back to when the autumn colours are set in, and I probably will find something then, because I'll be looking for it in the right mindset. So I just found a composition here with some rocks in the foreground and then the trees going off into the distance, and it's a bit of a downhill slope. But I really like it because it's kind of made up of triangles. So for me that really works. So we've got a triangle in the bottom left hand corner, then another triangle just above that on the right, then a triangle above that on the left, and then another one on the right. And there's something about triangles in a composition that really work well. But said that, I'm not sure that this composition will work. It's very, very tight. I've got a tree on the right hand side of the edge that is really tight to the composition, and I'm trying to cut it out as best I can. And then another unwanted tree on the left hand side that I'm trying to crop out as well. But let's see how we get on. The other element to this is these rocks are very close to the camera, and there's plenty of depth in this image, and if I want to show that depth, I'm going to need a lot of depth of field. So I'm going to have to focus stack this image, I think. I don't focus stack very often, in fact rarely do I do it, but I think in this case I may have to do it. Now this scene, I think, is the ideal scene to come back for. You know, I think this will look absolutely stunning in the autumn. Okay, let's just take this shot now. Okay, so so my first point of focus is on the rock in the foreground. Settings wise, let me just put my information up. I'm on 1/8 of a second f14. I'm currently on 400 ISO. I'm not really worried about ISO at this stage. This is only a recce shot, just so I can get the image, get a feel for the composition for when I come back in a few weeks' time. Set it on a 2-second timer. Let's take the first shot. Okay, so that's the first one, focused on the rocks. Let's change the focus point now to the trees in the distance. Okay. Actually, I've got another bit of rock just past the foreground and in the midground. I'm going to focus on that first. So again, 2-second timer. Okay, and now focus on the trees. Okay.
Find these trees here, need to focus on those. Okay, so if that image turns out is a half decent scouting image, I'll pop it up now. So this was a classic case of an image that looked okay on the back of the camera, but it's not until you import it and see it on the large screen that you realise it simply doesn't work. And that's the case for this image. It doesn't work. It's just too tight, and I couldn't really loosen it out anymore because there was a tree on the right hand side and a tree on the left that wouldn't have looked right in any composition. So yeah, there are lots of issues with this composition, but that's the beauty of scouting a location. You can move on and try and find something else.
Okay, it's me in focus. Right, I'm going to end the film here now. What a great place to end it though, on this outcrop overlooking the River Wye down in the valley. Isn't that beautiful? Such a stunning place. And Today has been really about scouting this area and having a look around and looking for compositions for when autumn really takes hold and those colours set in. And it's really worth getting out into a location and having a look around, just explore. You know, you never know what you'll find and what compositions you'll find. And the beauty of that is you don't have the expectation of having to create an image. You can just get out into a forest like this, have a look around, find those compositions, imagine what it's going to look like in autumn with the mist and the change in the colours. And that's the beauty of it. You never know what treasures you may find.